everyone, I am Shimbanka. Welcome to this new video of management case study interview. The purpose of this video is to give you an understanding of different industries, how to navigate through different management case study interview and what is expected of you in it. This video is divided into two parts. In the first part, I'll be going through the interview transcript and present my understanding of it. In the second part, we'll analyze the interview as a whole. Today, we are doing a case study interview where our client is a restaurant. For context, all the blue text with white background you see the statement of the candidate, and all the black text with blue background you see is the statement of the interviewer. Let's begin. Your client is a restaurant owner. It has been experiencing a decline in profits. It wants you to analyze why. So the first statement of a case study interview is very important because it tells you the scope of the interview. So we have this information that client is a restaurant owner. They're experiencing decline in profit, and we have to analyze why. This is a typical profitability case study interview, and a typical profitability interview is divided into three parts. In the first part, you try to understand the industry, understand the client's business, its competition more to figure out the problem. In the second part, you try to structure the situation to figure out where exactly is the problem coming from. And in the third part, you provide recommendations and solutions. So we'll begin with the first part where we'll try to understand more of the client's business. Since when has the client been seeing decline in profits? Also, do we have a magnitude of decline? The client has been seeing decline in profits for the last 1 year. There has been a significant decline for the past 3 months. Okay. Is it only the client's restaurant which has seen the decline in profits, or other restaurants in the area have also seen a decline? Other restaurants have seen some dip in their profits, but the client have has been significantly impacted. Now, I would like to understand more about our client. What type of restaurant is it, and where exactly is it located? The client has one high-end multi-cuisine restaurant located in high football area of Agra, high footfall area of Agra. Due to the Taj Mahal, Agra attracts a lot of tourists. I would like to understand the type of customers that visit the restaurant. Are they locals or tourists? This is a fair observation. The customers are mainly tourists, and you can consider them to be international tourists. Got it. The decline in profits could be due to increase in cost or decrease in revenue, or combination of both. Do we have an idea which side the problem lies? So, in the initial set of questions, the candidate understood a little bit about client's business, that the major customers are international tourists. It attracts mainly those tourists because it's located in high footfall area of Agra due to Taj Mahal, and that is how the business is. And other restaurants have seen a dip, but our clients have seen a major dip. So now we are moving to the second part of the interview where we are trying to structure the problem into costs and revenue, and to pinpoint where exactly is the problem coming from. Okay. The revenues have declined significantly while the costs have declined marginally. Okay, so that's a good thing that costs have declined, but it's very less, but the revenues have declined very much more compared to the cost. Since revenues have seen a major decline, let's first understand the reasons of the decline and then explore the cost side. A restaurant can have multiple revenue streams, including dine-in, takeaway, and delivery. It can offer both food and beverages, including alcoholic and non-alcoholic. Is our client into all these services? Has any one of these services observed a greater decline than others? The client only has dining restaurant services and does not have alcoholic beverage. Okay. Has the average number of customers being served at the restaurant in a day, or average amount spent per customer decreased? The average amount spent per customer has not changed, but the number of customers visiting the restaurant has decreased. Do we know if the decrease is because the client has not been able to cater to the customers willing to visit the restaurant, or the demand from the restaurant has declined? The client has been able to cater to all the customers who have visited the restaurant. This implies that the customers visiting the restaurants have decreased. The average number of customers visiting in a unit time can be seen as total number of tourists visiting India, X percent, tourists visiting Agra, X into percentage of tourists visiting Agra, into percentage of clients' restaurant, percentage visiting clients' restaurant. The problem could lie in any one of these parts. Total number of tourists visiting India and percentage of those who visited the client's restaurant both have declined. Okay, and okay, tourist visiting Agra has not declined. That seems strange. This is interesting. Let's first look at why tourists visiting India have decreased. Decrease could be either due to change in international perception about India, increase in processing hassles such as visa approvals, or change in preferences of tourists due to their country's economic reasons, or increased availability of alternate options. With the current slowdown internationally, the international tourism market has seen a decline, and India has been affected by it too. Now can you look at why the percentage of tourists visiting the client's restaurant has decreased? Uh, to understand this, I would like to look at the journey of customer from a given time when it decides on which restaurant to eat to actually eating the meal at the restaurant. For this, I would like to divide the journey into three parts. The first part of the journey will start with the decision to eating food till reaching the restaurant. Um, the second part will include the experience inside the restaurant, and the third part will include the journey after exiting the restaurant. So, okay, might be a good idea, but since we know that the customers visiting uh, the restaurant has decreased, so majorly focusing on how does tourists search for a place, and then how do they come to a decision which restaurant to go to would be a good idea. But I can see the validity in it that if the service and the uh, after exiting restaurant uh, impression of the tourist can help build a positive feedback or better Google reviews for other uh, tourists to come to could be a option. But yeah, majorly it should be on how should a tourist focus on deciding a restaurant. But yeah, let's it's a good thing to think at a very exhaustive level, even if it doesn't tell you the exact answer and the first thought you have. Sure, please go ahead. To finalize the client's restaurant to eat, the customer needs to be aware about the restaurant. Many international tourists must be checking reviews on websites such as TripAdvisor, as well as those of niche food bloggers. The promotion done by restaurant through posters and hoardings can also make tourists aware. Many tourists also ask for recommendations from their friends, travel agents, and from tourist guides available at monumental places. The tourist will check the price of restaurants to ensure affordability. Finally, once the restaurant has been decided, the tourist will lead towards the restaurant. The restaurant should be accessible. Mismatch in location from Google Maps, change in routes or route blocks due to construction activities, difficulty in parking spaces, etc., could negatively impact the tourist's decision to visit a restaurant. Do we know which of these? Do we know? Is there any problem here? Yes, few months back, the restaurant decided to reduce the commission of the tourist guides, because of which these guides have now started recommending our competitor's restaurant to the tourist. You can now move to the next phase of the journey. Okay, interesting. This can potentially explain why the cost also decreased, but we will look into it later. Once the customer reach the restaurant, they may have to wait before their turn comes. Then they enter the restaurant and take the seat. The seating arrangement, presentation of cutlery, and other amenities will affect the overall perception. The customer places an order using a menu where the presentation in the menu is important. Having placed the order, the waiting time, waiters hospitality and food quality and quantity will be important. Finally, the ambience also adds to the experience. Has there been any changes in any of these? Can you look at the ambience part in more detail? What all would it entail? Sure. The ambience of the restaurant is aided by the features inside the restaurants like the music, fragrance, visual appeals of the paintings, the overall decor, etc. The view from the restaurant also adds to the ambience used by rooftop cafes, sea-facing restaurants, etc. Here's a view of Taj Mahal can be an added experience to the customers. That's great. A building construction started 3 months back, which has blocked the view of Taj Mahal from the client's restaurant. This has deterred many customers. Can you quickly also look at the last part of your journey? Our customer has exited the restaurant. She may avail a service from near the restaurant, including local shopping or visiting a sweet shop. She may have to take the transport to visit another place. The restaurant may engage in loyalty programs as well. However, since tourist visits are generally a one-time visits, loyalty programs doesn't seem to be important here. Can you suggest if any of these have any changes in the recent times? So I think last like I couldn't think of anything post exiting a restaurant service. Um, so yeah, that was one attempt, but I don't think so that is a valid attempt. But yeah, good point. Outside the restaurant was famous pan wala shop, which got closed due to the sad demise of its owner. This has also impacted few customers. Can you give few recommendations now? So pretty good attempt, but very less impactful attempt. Uh, very less impactful cause, but a good. It's still a cause for decrease customers. Since the blocking of Taj Mahal's view is an important reason for the decline in revenue, the restaurant can explore it if relocation is possible. Though that would be tough, while continuing with the same location, the restaurant can provide differentiated ambience with local Agra's feel, provide value added services, and include pan in its menu. We will have to see why the tourist guide commissions are reduced if increasing it is possible. That could be done, or alternatively, non-monetary incentives can be provided to these guides. That's great. Thank you. So it was a pretty good case study interview where the candidate was able to go in to points of detailed description of all the points he mentioned, and he was able to think very categorically, covering exhaustively all the points. So we'll move to the second part of the video where we will analyze the video as a whole, interview as a whole. So it's very important to maintain very clear and crisp notes because sometimes at the end of the interview, the interviewer might ask for your notes and he should be able to understand everything in one glance. Okay. Interviewee notes. Since the competition is also facing decline in profits, it is likely to be an industry-wide issue, but higher decline with our clients suggests client-specific issue as well. Before proceeding ahead with the decrease in revenue, it is important to understand if it is a demand or supply side issue. Specifics about Agra city should be kept in mind to customize the argument. So this is the very important part of your notes where you structure the whole problem. So profits are divided into revenue and costs. The problem was on the revenue side. Revenues are divided into number of customers into average spend per customer. Problem was on the number of customers were decreased. The number of customers can be calculated by annual tourist visiting India into percentage of tourists visiting Agra into percentage of clients uh, restaurant customers. So the problem was on first and third one. In the number of customers visiting India, it could have been decreased due to reasons such as changed Indian perception for tourists, um, processing of visa issues, change in tourist preference as a country because of available of alternatives. So change in preference was an option, and change in preference could be because of two reasons, either increase in alternatives or economic downfall, and economic downfall was the reason where people were not preferring. Coming to the second part, where percentage of tourists visiting client's restaurant was an issue. It was divided into pre, during, and post transaction phase. In pre-transaction, where the client is coming, figuring out which restaurant to decide, it is divided by accessibility, affordability, and awareness. In the awareness part, you have online and offline awareness, and offline awareness was the offline awareness can be divided into tourist guides, commissions, and posters and travel agents. Tourist guide commissions was the problem since the restaurant was not offering as much commission as before, so guides were preferring other options to recommend to the tourists. During option, you have entry and waiting time, sitting arrangements, menu, service quality, food quantity and quality, ambience. Ambience was an issue. Ambience could be internal or how the internal design or um, internal infrastructure of the restaurant is, and it can be external. What is the uh, view from the restaurant? Problem was external. External can also be divided into sound from outside and view of Taj Mahal. Problem was that view of Taj Mahal was blocked because of the new building coming up. In the post transaction where the customer is leaving the restaurant, things can be divided such as loyalty program, which is not valid in a restaurant business, but loyalty program, transport availability, options just outside the restaurant. So the Panwala shop got closed, and that is a problem for the restaurant because customers used to prefer that option. Okay, so what were the recommendations provided by the candidate? Since the Taj Mahal has been obstructed from view, the hotel can provide differentiated ambience with local Agra's feel, provide value-added services, and open a pawn counter to try replacing the pawn shop experience. Since there has been a decrease in offline advertising through agents, we can look at an increase in offline advertising through tie-ups with hotels, maintaining a good rating and food apps, etc. Also, we can have a strategic advertisement by placing our placards near prominent areas in Agra. What are the suggestions for the interview as a whole was while moving from one phase of a customer's journey to another, say from a pre-phase to a during phase, one should confirm from the interviewer if she has covered all the aspects. This ensures that one does not move back and forth the phases of the customer's journey. Structure the recommendations and do not give a laundry list of suggestions. So that is also very important because the interviewer will lose track if you just start giving a list of suggestions without saying it in a very structured way. So that was the case study interview. It was pretty well done. And I will be uploading such case study interview covering different areas of industry. This one was restaurant. It's a very good practice if you're looking to build a career in consulting or if you have a case study interview coming up. It's a very good practice to learn about different industries so do you get an overall idea of what is happening in different industry and how to navigate in the interviews of different industries. The core principle remains the same. If it's a category of profitability, you try to structure the problem into revenue and cost and find the solution. But having a knowledge of industry specific details can be very helpful in cracking a case study interview. So do subscribe to the channel. I'll be uploading one video every day from now on. And thank you for watching and have a nice day.